You are listening to SynthWorld on WSLR LP 96.5 FM Sarasota and WBPV LP 100.1 FM Bradenton. I am thrilled to be here with two beams of light, if you will, from the Synthverse. That's going to be Lisa Marie Perkins of Radical Bicep and Josh Escobar. Is that correct? Am I getting that right?
That's it. That's it.
Josh
Just like
Escobar.
Pablo.
What was that? I'm sorry.
I said just like Pablo.
Ah, yes. Is there a connection there, maybe?
Now, you know what? I haven't really done the research yet, although I feel like he's probably some great uncle somewhere. I don't know.
Do you have access to that island with all the hippos and stuff like that too?
In Colombia,
Yeah.
uh, no sé, but I guess I'll find out once I finally do the research.
Okay. All right. Well, let me know. So that's going to be Josh Escobar, aka Diamond Ace. Both two of my favorite names in the whole synthverse. Honestly, those are two great names. So thank you both for being here. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Of course.
Okay, so let's dive in. We've got a lot of questions, a lot to cover to get to know both of you individually, as well as your most recent album you've done together, which I've got a whole set of questions for. But first, we've got to at least get you guys on a map and figure out where we're coming from. So, ladies first, of course. Lisa, where are you in the Synthverse?
I'm in Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas. Okay, I feel like I could hear that in your accent a little bit, like at least a little bit of southernness right there. So.
Yes, so I was actually born in Smithville, Texas, country farm, and then I moved up to Austin and moved up to Fort Worth, and then I'm back in Austin, and it's supposedly the music capital of the world. And
Mhm.
it's very fun, vivid, rainbow here. I love it. The people here are great and genuine, just like my voice.
How would you
hmm
say the kind of like indie electronica scene is there?
Oh, great, great. I saw Tom Cop 1985 over here and
Okay.
1983, I mean.
Mhm.
And the synthwave scene is growing. I mean, the rock scene is growing more, but the synthwave scene, there is so many synthwave artists here. Calico Sky is another one. These two great men singers. Um, uh, I mean, there's so many that haven't been discovered yet, and they lie in Austin. And the scene on Free Week is incredible.
Now, Josh, I want to also get to you. I don't want to forget. I know you had mentioned Colorado. Where are you there is it the mountain state? What state is that?
Shoot, I can never remember the name of it because I just moved here a couple of months ago.
Oh, okay. So you're new to Colorado. Okay.
Yep. All right. So as far as where I'm from, originally born and raised in Chicago, Illinois, same as Doug, the hidden face behind Radical Bicep. But throughout my throughout my time, I've called Arizona home. I've called Texas home, specifically El Paso. I've called Weiden, Germany home.
Oh.
And then after Germany, I'm over here in Colorado Springs now. So I've kind of been all over the place, really. So if anything, if one thing were to sum up where I'm from, I would just say the world at this point.
Mother Earth. Wow. Okay, cool. So two very kind of varied paths and different people, but yet we are drawn together or brought together, if you will, by the beautiful retro wave music that we love. Yeah, yeah. You definitely give off those kind of goth vibes with your look for sure, which I love. I mean, if anything, you look like you could be like in that movie The Craft about the witches.
Heck yeah, thank you.
And we talked a little bit about production. Josh, I want to bring you in here because I did also dive through your Bandcamp as well. And I just had to know because I just kind of assumed I didn't see other names on there or not, but you're known for your guitar work, or at least that's what I know you for. Are you producing the rest of the music within that catalog?
Yep, everything on the catalog and all the other collaborations that I've done have, when I first started out back in 2016, it was
Mhm.
I was, of
A
course,
decade
first and
now.
foremost, yeah, literally a decade. It's crazy.
Crazy. Yeah.
But yeah, when I started off in 2016, I of course was first and foremost a guitarist. But I came across a track by Miami Nights 1984. When I heard that, I was thinking like, I want to learn how to do that. And so I kind of just taught myself basically how to produce stuff. And you can hear the evolution over the years of like how I crafted my sound and everything too.
You mentioned experimentation, and Lisa, I want to come back to you for a second here because, but I think
Right.
for me more than anything, and I think for other probably people who are newer to this, I know you've been doing this for a little while,
Mhm.
finding their voice, if you will, like the kind of natural tone and word choice and stuff like that is difficult.
Mhm.
I'm just wondering, do you have, for someone who's newer and for other people listening, do you have a couple tips that you might be able to lend to someone when they're trying to find their voice?
This is what I say is that never give up on yourself for one. And whenever you have a piece of paper in front of you, just think about your past, think about what you have been through as a person. And it goes more deeper than that. Like if we just dive into our brains of whatever hurt us, whatever affected us in the moments where we go through, that's kind of what the voice that I have is, I try to put some hope in it. And having hope is finding your voice.
Yeah, and it's actually a good segue to one of the lyrics I wanted to spotlight here because it sounds like you've kind of found that freedom, if you will, to
Hmm.
experiment, try different styles and stuff like that, but you haven't found a home. There's still some part of you that's hollow there. And so that is part of the lyrics here. So I want to read this. I apologize. I don't remember which track this is off of.
It's
Uh,
okay.
it's not off this most recent album, but I really like this song and this line, which was, um, you thought freedom would be something, but it's hollow when there's no one by your side. Can you kind of expand on where you were and how you were feeling when you wrote that?
Depression. So, actually, my first band was Hammer Zaya. And
Mm,
when I got out of that band, I felt a lot of darkness. I felt a lot of, I was lost. I wasn't worth it. I wasn't worth the dime, in this world.
mm,
And when I felt, when I found Doug Radical Bicep and he believed in me, you know, he kind of filled that hollow side of me because I per se was kind of suicidal. I'm just going to be upfront is that I was,
yeah.
because I love music so much, is that I went through a mental phase life, and that's when I was doing psychedelic rock. And then I truly found synthwave through Radical Bicep.
So the story behind Hanging On Without You is it's a remake. It's a remake of a song that I did back in like 2017, I think it was. It was like 2017 or maybe 2018. I can't fully remember off the top of my head. But the song I wrote for an ex a long time ago. And we've since broken up. It was a pretty messy breakup. And regardless of who I wrote it for, it was still a pretty good song in my opinion. Like the ambition was there, but the production aspect of it wasn't quite there yet. So I decided, let's see what happens if I decide to remake it. When yeah, let's see what happens when I decided to remake the song. You know, knowing the stuff that I know now, how would I have done it? And so I went on and did that, and I wrote some lyrics for it actually, just kind of referring back to that messy breakup period. And so it turned from, a song about love, love and whatnot to a little bit of resentment too. And it tied well into what Lisa came up with. And that song, of course, brings back a lot of painful memories. But at the same time, I love that song so much. And I'm so proud of the way that it turned out. So it's kind of bittersweet for me, that song.
I want to ask you about, we're going to focus on guitarists for a moment here,
Okay.
influence from that. I want to know, so right now we're in the laboratory and we're going to build a Frankenstein monster of all of your favorite guitarists. Okay.
Oh, this is gonna be sick.
I know you
Uh,
saw that. You saw these questions, so I'm hoping yeah, you're smiling on the other side of this. So I'm gonna list a few different areas here, and I want you to just pick me. We're gonna fill in the blank on which guitarist is gonna be in the slot. So first off, guitar solos, the coolest, the graddest, the most important part, sort of. Who's it gonna be?
okay, for solos, I'm a little bit tied for that one because I like how flashy Prince's solos are, and I know I've gotten some comparisons with some of the work that I've done and some of the solos that I've done to him.
Oh,
So
okay,
I feel like that's a bit of an honor. But
definitely.
between that and Dave Gilmour, that's another one that I also get compared to a lot too, especially when I play slower and try to be a little bit more expressive about how it is that I'm playing. Like there's some parallels that sometimes can get dropped like between myself and Dave Gilmour, even though I don't think I can hold a candle up to him.
Let's move on to the chords section. I don't know if this is difficult to answer, but if you had to pick someone's chords in there, yeah, who would it be?
Okay, so for chords, um, the big one for me would be Robin Guthrie of Cocteau Twins, because
Hmm.
I like how simple it is, but it creates such an atmosphere, with with all the effects that he uses and just the simplicity of it and the sparseness of a lot of the tracks. And that in itself creates a really nice atmosphere for me too. And Cocteau Twins is another one of my favorite bands. So
Yeah.
he's definitely one. Another one that I would put if I couldn't put Robin was what was his name? I can't think of it right now. Oh, The Edge from U2. He's another one that I like.
So let's
Yeah.
move on to technical ability. One of my favorites, right? So we're talking, the ability to shred, play every note. Who would you pick there?
Oh, okay. So so for that one, that one's gonna be a little bit of a harder one for me because there's a lot of people that I actually admire, and not all of them are famous that have some really
Sure.
good technical abilities. Um, if I were to just kind of divide them up between like lead playing and rhythm playing, for rhythm, there's a guy on Instagram. He goes by the name of Sebasticide, and I really love his rhythm playing.
Okay.
His hybrid picking technique, his percussive style, and how precise he is. Now, on the lead side of things, it'll probably have to be Tim Henson because in the same vein, he also does hybrid picking, and that's something that I've been trying to work on, and with not much success. But I probably haven't been practicing enough. But Tim Henson also has that very precise feel. And it's a little bit soulful in a lot of places too, like his note choices, the way he bends, and a lot of other things that he tends to do with his lead style of playing. And he's another one that I'd pick as far as like the lead side is concerned.
So the next one here is category is going to be style, stage presence, right? I mean, there's so many to choose from, but who you picking?
Okay, yeah. So definitely for style is Prince, hands down.
Yeah.
Prince, hands down. Like I've loved his style all the way up from the '80s up until his unfortunate passing, and even when he did the show at the Super Bowl when it rained that day, like
Hmm.
it just adds to his aura. I guess like that's the if that's like a good enough term to use. Like there's
Yeah,
a
sure.
mystique, a sort of charisma about Prince that, a lot of people, myself included, have been drawn to. And that's one of his most like admirable qualities to me. Like his style, his stage presence, his charisma, the way he plays, like a lot of things that Prince does like really do appeal to me.
Okay, now Lisa is back. Let's get Lisa back in here. We don't want to forget about you, Harrison Rent. Um, and I want to give you a chance to shout out some of your favorite singers, songwriters ever. I think about this all the time. I don't know about you guys, I mean, I'm not even and as nearly as an accomplished artist or whatever performer as you guys are, but I
Hmm.
always think about like if I could pick a handful of artists that I really love to like just sit in like a studio and just jam out with them and really, really vibe. So
Hmm.
Lisa,
Mhm.
top three female singer-songwriters, alive or dead, that you want to have that intimate garage, basement, studio jam with.
Oh gosh. Well, number one would be Lauren Mabry from the Churches because
Mhm.
she has always inspired me. Number two, Kat Von D because I love her voice. Kat Von D just has that woo that I love her voice. Number three would probably be Nina. She's really huge in the synthwave scene and she's a sweetheart. And I love her voice so much. And I know she had a baby, but Nina, if you're hearing this, I would love to do a song with you because you have such a beautiful voice.
Oh yeah, Nina is, if there was a Mount Rushmore of female synth pop singers, Nina would have
Yeah.
to be on that.
Yeah.
In my experience, as what I would call myself a popularizer. That is the term
Mhm.
I would use because that's the term I would rather use than DJ or singer, even though I do those things. But to me, I think my job in the synthwave scene, the retrowave scene, is to popularize and to perform and to bring this music to audiences that don't normally get it. Because
Mhm.
Mhm.
my experience is not that this music isn't palatable to the average person, it's that the average person doesn't even know it exists.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a problem,
Yep.
right? And so that problem, at least as far as I can tell, gets even worse when you talk about women, minority communities, right? Both of those two things. And
Mhm.
I want to know from your perspective, being, I know you're black, and Escobar, I should have known you have some,
Some Puerto Rican in me. Well, it could
okay.
be Puerto Rican, it could be Colombian. Like I said, I haven't really done the research all that much yet. I just know my mom is part Hispanic as well, so that's the reason why I have the name.
Love the name. And also not so you have a little bit of two different minority communities. Oh yeah, that was the other guy I interviewed that was from Puerto Rico. He lives in New Mexico now, is Richard Alfaro.
Nice.
Really good guitarist as well, if you know who that guy is.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I
He was
do
really
actually.
you should listen to my interview with him. He was very nice. And deep guy. But so come back to our question here. For me, I want to know, I'm always looking for ways to get this in other people's ears and to expand the appeal to as many people as possible. In
Mhm.
your opinion, how, as from where I'm coming from, how would you say I could do a better job, or what tips would you give to me to reach out to Latino, Puerto Rican, African American listeners slash concert goers?
Okay, so at least as far as like, I can probably speak a little bit more to the African American side of things than the Latino side of it, since
Hmm.
I feel more connected to my Black roots than I do to the Latin roots. I know I've got some Latin in there, and I've touched on it a little bit, but I haven't connected with it as much as I should have, and it's fine. That's something that can definitely
You got a lot of
grow
life
over
to
time too.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a lot of time
Yeah.
in order to do that one. But from the stuff from the insights that I've seen, as far as even like with both of those communities, really, like a lot of them tend to be family focused, especially in the on the African American side. A lot of the older generation is definitely more family focused, and the Latino generation, the Latino side of it is definitely family oriented too,
Hmm.
and they tend to stick to their roots. So if you do something that kind of merges bits of the culture, creating more of a melting pot, if that makes sense. Say for example, I make a synthwave track, but I throw some R&B influences or some trap influences in there. That could be a little bit more of a broadening appeal to that as well. And I know there's a bit of a generalized answer, but the first thing that I thought of when that's the first thing I thought of when you asked the question. Um,
Yeah.
for the Latino side of it, you can integrate some influences from their culture as well. You know, you've got a bunch of different genres of music to pull from. For like Brazilians, you've got a little bit of bossa nova, you've got merengue, you've got
Reggaeton.
reggaeton too. Yeah,
Uh,
like
oh yeah,
there's a lot of different things that you can draw from in order to create that broader appeal as far as, you know, creating the music is concerned. And on the vocal side of things, you know, it doesn't even matter like the type of singer that they have, at least as far as like the black community is concerned, you know, just as long as they align well with the values that they have. Like I've seen a lot of black folks that are Paramore fans,
sure.
but
Yeah,
you
oh
know,
yeah.
but you know, on that side of things, you know, Haley Williams has got some soul in her voice too, so that's another big draw for her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and on the like Latino side of things, you know, you can sing stuff in like Spanish, Portuguese, um,
Sure.
you know, those sorts of things too. And you know, if you're able to sing something and express it well in a language that they know a little bit better than English
Hmm.
in some cases, then you know that's able to connect you well to that audience.
So, Lisa, I want to come to you. This question kind of was initially meant for you about women. I want to ask the same question about women, right? Because
Hmm.
I think this is maybe less of an uphill battle than Josh and I were talking about, but still, you know, and I found having a female singer helps with this, but there's no doubt that there's like a hurdle, a hump to get over, I think, with a lot of women listeners.
Hmm.
Um, and once you're over it, they're into it. But how, in your, you know, being a woman, how can I, as a popularizer, how can producers not just produce music that is more appealing towards women or can open some of those doors maybe, but also can demonstrate a scene that welcomes female producers, guitarists, singers, you know, drummers, all of that. How does the scene kind of evolve in that way?
Honestly, when it comes to Lisa, I don't think about the sex. Like, when it comes to my music, I mean, I have a lot of woman friends, and then I have a lot of new woman friends in the synthwave scene, and they're always asking me questions. I think it all comes down to the person, the woman. So, just being kind to everybody. My songs, each of them has a story. And being a woman, of going through so much, like being bullied because I'm a woman or overweight or this and that, like my goal is just to reach, the people that are hurt, the girls that are hurt. And so far I have had good success, in that route. And they have actually messaged me and been like, Lisa, how do you do it? Like, how do you just write your music, being a woman, like going through it? And I'm like, well, sometimes you just got to let it out. And music is our escape. And it can heal if you let it, because there's all forms of healing in this world, but you just got to be patient with yourself, because there is some women that just think that life is just going to be like that and marvelous, but sometimes we have to go down that dark path, that dark kind of fire, in
So
order
we've
to
kind of
grow into a flower.
danced around the other, and I believe the founding member, if you will, of Radical
Hmm.
Bicep, Doug. What's Doug's last name?
Tesno.
Say again?
Tesno.
Ooh, interesting.
Tesnow.
That's, oh, I wonder where that's from.
Hmm.
Very cool. Well, we kind of danced around him like the guy behind the curtains in The Wizard of Oz. And he's obviously an important part of this entire thing. So I want to mention him at least a couple times. And Lisa,
Hmm.
you had talked about how meeting him, Doug, was such an important kind of turning of the corner, it seems like, in your kind of healing from what had happened with your last band.
Right.
How did you kind of walk us through how you connected with Doug, how that happened, and then also why you feel like the two of you gel so well?
Well, you know, he first came into my life on Facebook, and he just, mentioned, are you okay? What's going on? You're one of my favorite singers in the synthwave. Like, I am literally his favorite singer in the synthwave community, and he have always wanted to work with me, and we did one song together, and we just continued to talk after that. And then he found out that my band, broke up, and he was like, I'm so sorry. We just started talking, and I told him, I'm like, I'm very depressed and I feel worthless, and I was just saying all this negative stuff about myself. And he was like, nope, I don't believe it. You're my favorite singer and you need to stop thinking like that. And then he asked me, would you be my lead singer of Radical Bicep? And I'm like, sure, why not? Let's make an album, let's make some songs. And we made Overrule. That was like our number one song, Overrule, as a band together. And we just,
Overall is such an amazing track too.
yeah, like we just clashed very well, spiritual. And he's like my Twinkie, like my twin. um he's just, he's actually a therapist, by the way. So it's like he's my therapist of music in a way, if I can say that.
Let me ask you guys. I kind of have the same. Actually, it is the exact same question for both of you about some of like your quintessential tracks, right? Like if you had to pick out like this, these tracks, this track is me. This is really like emblematic of who I am. I'm gonna narrow it down just for time's sake. I'm gonna narrow it down to two. But if Josh, will start with you. If you had to pick two, you know, songs that you feel like, God, like this is just me in a song from your catalog, and why? What would they be?
Okay. So, two tracks is always like a little bit more difficult to do. Like,
Then
I feel
one?
better with, yeah, I mean, as far as like saying, this is me, because there's a few tracks over there that kind of explore different sides of like the stuff that I like to do. On the rockier side of things, the track that says, this is Diamond Ace, the guitarist, that one would have to be my song Data off of my album Empty Spaces. Um, that one is like a sort of driving synth rock track, if you will. Um, and it's definitely got some heavier influences than the other stuff that I've done in the past. And then on the dreamier side of things, um, the track that I did with Lisa, Never Lose, that one is one that I feel like
Good track.
leans more into that one leans more into the dreamier side of things too. Like that's a very atmospheric track. Um, I had so much fun making them all. They all, like I said, represent different sides of me. And the important thing that I like to do whenever I make tracks is, have fun with it.
Good. Yeah. Hey, I tell you what, it's weird. Your voice almost doesn't emote as well. I guess part of it is I don't see you on the screen. Uh, but it's hilarious because like that, you saying that sentence, it's not convincing coming from your voice, but I know you mean it. You just sound so, like educated and pragmatic and like smart on some level, and so you know what I mean. Anyways, I appreciate the sentiment there nonetheless.
Yeah. I get that one a lot too. I do tend to sound very pragmatic about a lot of things, but that was that's just the product of my background.
You sound like if an asteroid was coming towards Earth, you'd be a great guy to have help me figure out what to do about it. I'd be turning to you. The way I described this album was a series of slow motion montage scenes at the end of a movie, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Crescendo,
Right. Right.
crescendo, tension released, clarity, right?
Right.
There's so much of that, not just in the lyrics, but in the way it felt. There just felt like there was a lot of like significant emotional weight behind a lot of it. So I'm just wondering from both of you if you can speak to kind of like the ups and downs, the trials and tribulations, maybe both creatively and in your personal lives that shaped some of those like emotional tugs that this album gives to listeners?
I'll start. So majority of my writing on this song, as a vocalist of this album, is that um, it was my moments of doubt, my moments of not knowing who I was. It was my suicidal thoughts. It was my depression. Like it was just everything that brought me down and everything that I am today, and I wanted to put a little bit of my dark past into this like reality and of people who actually saved me in this life. If it wasn't a higher power, it was other people that helped me come to realize of who I am and that had wings over me to help me.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful. Josh, how about you?
Okay. And on my side of it, a lot of it was there wasn't really that many ups and downs because a lot of those tracks came really easily to me. And it was mainly just because of, like I had mentioned earlier, hearing a line and then getting inspired based off of that line and, creating a whole track based off of it. Or, Doug will come up with a synth line or something after the fact and, it fits so well with it. But as far as, a couple of the tracks, especially a couple of the dreamier ones like Portals, for example, before it jumps into like, the more driving side of it, that one came from like, these wistful dreams that I had. And and sometimes whenever I do have these dreams, I hear like a motif or something in those dreams, and I kind of want to just like I wake up and then I'll put it down right as I'm waking up too, just so it's fresh in my mind and I don't forget it. But one of the more emotional things as far as like the tracks are concerned, a big one, a big emotional one would definitely have to be like Lost Runner too, because I know I was going for something more cinematic, but it's also kind of like, yeah, it's over.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
done. And
Well, it sounds like Lisa might be the heart, if you will, and you are the brain. Is that, am I looking at that right?
He is a
yeah.
naturalist. Like when it came to this album, like the reason why this happened is because he's been through a lot too. Like we all as human beings go through so much, and he just has that emotion when he makes music alone that just has a comfort, like someone's patting your back, you know? So that's how I can describe Diamond Ace is he's a pat on the back when you need to see something bright.
You also, similar to Lisa, you really have touched on a lot of different subgenres. For both of you, I wrote down the different subgenres that that I felt like either you fully embraced or have touched on a little in your catalogs. And
Mhm.
for you, chillwave, synthwave, cyberpunk, space synth, outrun, and post rock. You do have a couple songs or a handful of songs. Maybe it's an album I listened to that has that kind of
Right.
more stripped back, minimal, kind of like Tycho. You know,
Heck yeah.
feel to it. Richard O'Fallero,
Yeah.
kind of same thing. I love
Yeah.
you've done a great
Yeah.
job. So,
Yeah, like that's just the result of all of the stuff that I've listened to and continue to listen to over the years too.
Hmm.
A lot of those things kind of touch into the stuff that I make, and you know this is like my way of expressing my love for those
Right.
genres too.
Right. Hmm.
definitely. And I mean, I will say this as a listener, right? Purely as a listener, I love that stuff. I feel like there are quite a few people in the synthwave scene, and also I would say even more so in the chill synth scene, that
Hmm.
have become
Mm-hmm.
super stagnant and their
Mm-hmm.
music has become super boring and like
Yeah.
they have no like at least it feels like they have no desire to evolve and like expand into a new genre or like heck stay in chill synth but like try pulling some stuff from other areas to Yeah. So again, as a listener from both for both of you, I love that. I would rather you release an album that's kind of in a different direction, but you give it a shot than to give me something that is, you going through the motions kind of thing, if you will, right? So
Yep.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yep.
yeah. So Lisa, to you now, quintessential Lisa Marie Perkins, or I guess even if you want to, bring in Radical Bicep, I know you've done, but
Mhm.
your two favorite tracks of yours, if you will. If you had to, if you got brought to I was about to say the White House. That's not a good choice right now. But if you got, if you went over to Nina or Maya Kamara's house and they were like, "Oh, I've never heard your music. Let me hear some of your songs." What are the two tracks you're pulling out and why?
Well, I can't pick just two, maybe three. Um, well, my big hit wonder song, Firewall, for one, with Absent 3. That's when I first discovered synthwave. Firewall is kind of like my hit wonder, and people always freak out when they see that that's actually me. um, and The Warriors with Diamond Ace, because that song was I was going through so much at the time, and that's when I discovered Diamond Ace, and I did a song with him on his album, and uh, that song just spoke with me. Like I wrote that song within one day.
Yeah,
Um,
and that instrumental took like forever in order to perfect too. Like especially after the
yeah.
little like I
Oh, there
love
he
that
goes
line.
with his guitar.
Plugged in.
Yeah, I just whipped out the acoustic.
Gotta ask you, if you can, favorite track on the album and why?
Lisa, you want to go first?
Oh my gosh, this is so hard. Doug's gonna hate me, but I love my vocals and everything, but I love synthwave and I love cyberpunk. Night City. And why do I like Night City so darn much? Because it has anime in it. Diamond Ace, that's his track.
That's the one where you guys
He,
sampled something on it,
he-
right? With the sampling?
Yeah, yeah,
yes.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the
Like I love that freaking song. Like that song just motivates me. Like it kicks me in the rear and says, "Get on with your life and keep on going." And plus, I love anime. Like I'm an anime freak. So, Josh, thank you.
of course. Like that one was another one. That one was one that I came up with like right before the light touch sessions too.
Yeah,
And Doug wanted that one in there as well.
yeah.
So
I
I was like,
really
okay.
wanted that one in there.
So I was like,
What's the
okay,
sample
yeah.
from, Josh?
There's a couple in there. There was one that I took basically of just me playing what was it? Me playing Cyberpunk 2077 and then just kind of standing there while it was raining. But that's where a lot of the ambience came from. And then there was a line that I got from the Japanese dub of Bleach. It was Zangetsu saying how much he hates rain, which is actually kind of funny.
He's like, "What do you haul? I hate rain."
Basically. And then the latter half of it was just, me just kind of me just kind of vibing with the thing that I came up with. And then
Yeah.
mine for sure is a new beginning. Like a new beginning, that one I feel like is quintessentially the Diamond Ace synthwave side. Like, especially after I came up with it so quickly, and I'm so proud of that work and the vibe that I put into it, and the love that I put
Yeah,
into that track. Like that one is by far my favorite. Although a close second is gonna have to be Glow.
it's a
Because
beauty.
yeah,
I think honestly, I think we've since world listeners here probably know where to find your stuff, and we don't need to go down that more than anything. I want to
Mhm.
know from you guys. You've gone all over this place, all over the retroverse, and now you've released Light Touch. You've that clarity, that release has happened. Where, Josh? Lisa, where in the retroverse will you go next?
We're actually making more music, so be on
Yep.
the lookout for more music.
Yep.
Maybe another album.
I've already sent ideas to Doug too. so,
Yep.
so, this isn't the last that you'll hear from the three of us. There's definitely more stuff coming, and
Yes.
there's there's more stuff that I'm brewing, and even like perhaps a little bit later on in the year or
Yep.
so, we'll probably end up, you know, coming together for another album again. And
Yep.
Sure.
there was one thing that I definitely wanted to do, and I hadn't had the chance to because some stuff came up and Lisa wasn't available at the time. But I definitely wanted to like pair two singers in a ballad type song. So I'm in the
That's gonna
process of,
happen.
yeah, so I'm
Oh yeah.
definitely, brainstorming some ballads and whatnot. And I'm not sure if it's gonna be two females or a female and a male, be it like Lisa and somebody, or like Lisa and a male or Lisa and another female. Like I'm not too sure on that one, but that one is definitely in the works too. Like as soon as I come up with something that I like and I get it to a demo stage, then yeah, we'll definitely move forward with that one, and we'll see who it is that we decide to pull in for it. Maybe it might even be you, Nomad.
Ah, well, you let me know. You let me know. I'll be around.
I got you. I got you.
Yeah, I got a better voice than you'd think. It was funny. I was I was talking to. I think part of it is just because when I tell people I'm a DJ and then I mention that I'm a singer or I sing, that they're not expecting the combo. But we had a guy recently who has like a here in St. Pete has a really like just dripping with synthwave mural that's on one of the buildings here, like right in the heart of downtown. And I was chatting back and forth with him about doing a performance in front of it. And when I said I sing as well, he was like, "You're a singer?" Like that was his face. He was like, "Hmm?" Like, so there must be
Yep.
something about either being a DJ or the way I look that makes people think like this fuck can't sing. But better than you'd think for sure. So yeah, let me know. But appreciate it nonetheless. You guys have given me so much more of your time than I deserve and should have taken up. But you guys gave such great answers,
Yeah.
and I wish I could talk further with you, but I have to let you go. I have to let you guys fly away. But before you
Yes.
go, do you guys have any kind of final parting words for the Synth World listeners?
Thank you for your time. It's been very fun talking with you, and I hope SynthWorld, perseveres and stays strong in this world, and you know, stay safe in this mad world that we live in, and just keep on listening to retro sounds because it helps us escape.
Yeah, definitely keep on keeping on. But the thing that I will want to say is, again, thank you so much for the time to, listening to us ramble. No, but on a serious note,
Yes.
thank you so much for, like, the support that you've given so far, and hopefully will continue to give. Thank you for giving artists like us a chance, to get our names out there, and
Mhm.
make something that helps to connect with you. And that's another big thing
Yep.
that I
Mm.
absolutely love about the scene, because there's a lot of different types of music out there that connects with people and brings them all together into this close-knit, beautiful community that I am so proud to be a part of.
Absolutely. And I mean, and all I was ultimately getting at there, oh, my neighbor's moving around. All I was getting at there ultimately, which is that I know deep within me that this scene, these people, artists like yourself, deserve someone who is committed to promoting the music, presenting it to other people, getting it in front of other people's ears, giving everything that you guys give when you write the music
Yeah.
to listeners at a show, giving them all that emotion, all that humanity, all those real things. The world needs that so bad, and so it's just beautiful and wonderful to hear other people who truly see that reality and that kind of vision. So Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
time. Yeah, and so again, that is going to be Texas-based singer-songwriter Lisa Marie Perkins of Radical Bicep. And then that's going to be guitarist, producer, just all around music madman, if you will. Josh Josh Escobar, aka Diamond Ace. Guys, it was such a pleasure. Thank you for your time. Until I see you guys next time, stay retro.
Stay
All
retro,
right.
guys.
You too. You too. You too. You too. You too. You too.